He did miss the Cheltenham Festival in the spring through an injury, but I just think it's important to have a little look at this horse because the way he's going to be campaigned this season, I think he might come into a bit of an anti-post play. I think he jumps really well. The first initial thoughts of him from last season, watching his races and watching how he progressed, was I did sort of tarnish him thinking he might be a horse that's better right-handed. The reason I'm saying it like that, and it's much more of a might now, is that might not be the case. I think he actually probably can go left. This is the Arkle trial at Cheltenham, so we've got Defi de Soul in behind. Layla obviously goes on to win. We can watch Defi de Soul make a mistake at this because we haven't got independent clips of him. So you'll see the big jump, and that's him out of there. But Dynamite Dollars here, there was a lot of pace on, there was challenging for the lead. If you consider the fact that, I know Layla blew up in the Arkle itself, if you consider the fact that Dynamite Dollars is still best of the rest, and we've got Defi behind, he made that big mistake at the last, big over jump, probably wasn't as bad a performance as I may have marked it down as. This run at Sandown was ultra impressive for me, and it was something that I hoped he would have done. I did back him on the day. I couldn't have Layla as a real decent 2-mile chasing prospect. I know I slipped up at Aintree following him in there. But this is a performance against the Newer. It was wet that day. Layla wasn't going to like that. I've said before about the rain. I don't think that's when he runs his best. Dynamite Dollars, gutsy here. Real decent jumping round from him. And Anua obviously did go on and win at Aintree. So wouldn't be the greatest performance from Anua at Aintree. That won't be a classic to go down by. But, you know, it's not terrible form, I don't think. And we've got to look at this. He is a novice chaser, so there's progression that's going to go on there. He expanded so much from a novice hurdler into a chaser. So this is at Kempton when it's missed. It's tricky to know how much we can read into the latter part of it because they do disappear now. But you could see that Kalashnikov was off the bit first. We can see that Dynamite Dollars was being ridden into the home straight as well. That wouldn't have been his cleanest of jumps, but you can see he's pulling away from Kalashnikov here. Mentioned about him before that he is a 2.5 miler, but he's not short speed. He was in a Supreme and he ran well in the Supreme, almost won it. I think this was a good enough performance from me from Dynamite Dollars at the trip for a horse that I think was looking like he was going in the right direction. He's miles off of a top grade horse, let's not forget that, but he's where he is in the ratings and I think that's fair. He does need to take another big step forward, but I think there is a chance that he could probably do that. You can see there they were well clear of the rest. Now, this is the race that St Calvados ran in the previous season before the Arkle. Dynamite Dollars was a long odds-on short favourite here. Alan King's Ballywood's in second. I thought this was a poor performance at first glance from Dynamite Dollars. I thought this is where my left-handed thing was coming in. I thought he would have won by more than this. He has been ridden and he has picked up and he has gone and won the race, but he should have done with the rating that he was. The fact that he's obviously got the niggle and then gone into spring and not been able to run, maybe that was picked up here. And maybe he's a horse that doesn't really seem to do a lot in front. He does definitely need to progress this season. There is no doubt in that, especially when you look at his ratings. If he's going to make into a champion chaser, which is what I'll come on to in a second, you know, he needs to step up. He's got to be a stone, isn't he? He's got to get better. So that'll put him as a 170 horse. And that's, if Altior does end up there, then, you know, that's going to be a fierce race. And you don't just win champion chases. But Nichols knows what to do with these types of horses. I touched on his progression from hurdles into fences. He was 132 over hurdles, as we can see here. That was a massive step forward. Hopefully he can do that again. The key with this horse, the reason why I've made the clips, and I think it's worth talking about him, is that Paul Nichols has said, he's just made it black and white, that Dynamite Dollars runs in the Denman Chase at Newbury, so that's beginning of next season, and then he runs at Cheltenham in the Champion Chase. So he's having a prep run, and then he's going to go in the Champion Chase. Now, I'm not saying that he is going to go and win a Champion Chase. There's going to be some worldies in there. He'll be miles behind him on figures. However, if he does step forward, he's going to be lightly campaigned. That race is going to be the one that's in mind as his pinnacle for the season. He's 50 to 1 now with Hills. You can boost that. I think you get 55 to 1. I cannot see how this horse, if he runs well enough in the Denman Chase, which, you know, Altior's got the option of going back to that race if things don't work out in the King George. There will be some other horses that will go in there. But unless he's completely disgraced in there in terms of being pulled up or makes howlers of mistakes, if he runs okay with any sort of credit in that race, the Denman Chase, which I expect that he will, I don't think he's going to win it, I think he'll run well, he will not be a 50 shot. So there's worse anti-post punts out there, given the fact that if Altior wins the King George and he's not in there, we've touched on Chacun Poursoir when I looked at the normal chases, but he's about the sort of price that he should be for the race. So loads of progression from Dynamite Dollars you'd hope for this season. if last season was the only season that he's going to progress, then he's got too much to find. He's not good enough to do it this season. But I like the fact that he's going to be lightly campaigned, and I just think he'll be interested, and he might have slipped off the radar a little bit by them.